Welcome to the Expert in You Showcase, the show where we bring you quick, powerful conversations with elite entrepreneurs and other professional business experts to share their best strategies, secrets, and tips to help you have more success in your business and life. I'm your host, Ann Carden, and this show is brought to you by Expert in You, where we empower professional entrepreneurs, business owners, and experts to become influential figures and celebrities in their markets and add 6 to 7 figures with more ease. Discover a game-changing secret that attracts leads, qualifies them effortlessly, warms them up for your offer, and hands them over ready to say yes. We want to make closing deals for you a breeze. It's time to stop chasing clients and consistently fill your calendar with highly qualified conversations and sales opportunities every month. Increase your influence, impact, and accelerate your income and strategies that work. Book your business accelerator call with me now at acarden.com and let's map out your next step. Today, my guest is Elaine King. And even though her last name is King, she is the queen of health coaching in perimenopause and menopause for women. And so I'm really excited to dive into this conversation with her. This is something I haven't talked about on the show yet. So Elaine, welcome to my show.
Thank you for having me, Ann. I really appreciate it.
Yes. So this is a hot topic right now with women that are in their 40s and 50s. And I really haven't discussed this on the show before. So I was excited to have you on here and talk about this. It's kind of like taboo, or has been in the past, to talk about this. So first of all, let's just hear a little bit about who Elaine is and how you started working in this field and doing the health coaching that you're doing now.
Okay, well, thank you. I've been coaching for 14 years, and it's amazing even to say that, because before that, I had a completely different career that I worked within for almost 14 years too. So, and it's what led me to become a health coach. So back then, I was, like many of people who I work with, I was a corporate person, burning the candles at both ends, feeling like I needed to be doing it all. And I was working as an account executive for a media company. And I worked on commission, so that says a lot. And I thought I was doing fine. Outwardly things were going great, but my body was speaking to me. And eventually it got loud enough to where I had to do something about it. And I went through the Western medicine avenue and just wasn't getting the results that I needed, getting the healing. And I felt led, I'm a woman of faith, I felt led to look at alternative methods. And I was led to a class taught by a health coach. And that many years ago, health coaching was not a thing. It's still growing, but it definitely wasn't then. And so it was a new approach for me. And going to the class, hearing what she had to say, it opened up a whole new world of how to take care of me. And not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And as she spoke, I was like, it wasn't about do this, don't do that, eat this, don't eat that. It was about let's change your relationship with food. And as I began to implement some of the things that she shared over the course of some months, my issue that I had been having totally went away. Even though I was working in the same job, same stressful environment, and I was doing better than ever. And I said, I want to share this secret with other women, other corporate women for sure, because we don't know that there's another way to be, right? And
Right.
the secret was about being more of a human being and not just a human doer. Okay.
Yes.
So I began being trained for a coach, while I was still working so that I could become a health coach myself. And 2 years later, I was able to leave that job and step into coaching fully. So that was 14 years ago. And since then, I've been growing as a coach. I'm working in an insurance environment and a clinical environment, which is what brought me to where I am now. A year ago, things changed in the clinical environment, and I knew it was time for me to do something else. I felt inside of me there was more for me to do, as a coach, as a person. Plus, realized that I was going through perimenopause. And I had gone to my doctor because I was experiencing some weight gain. And I've been doing everything else the same. Nothing had really changed in my eating, my
Right.
exercise. to find out what would she say about how to handle this. I had already determined that I was probably in perimenopause, do some research I was doing, and she said it's the twilight zone. We don't really know what's happening in there.
Right.
And so I said, I'm sure I'm not the only person hearing this and that some support is needed. So that became the opportunity for me to step out with um, this niche, really focusing on women leaders in their
Mm,
40s and 50s, stop the weight gain, reduce the symptoms, and really step into or step back into their confidence,
mm,
right? And it's
right.
been a year, and I've been building since and just loving working with this population of women.
I love it. So let's talk about perimenopause. Maybe people don't really understand. You said it's kind of the twilight zone. So maybe people don't really understand what that means. How would
Mhm.
you explain that or describe that to our listeners?
Okay, so perimenopause is the period before menopause. So this is when it could be up to 10 to 15 years before you actually hit menopause.
Mhm.
So we're hearing it can begin as early as 35, but definitely within your 40s. You're in that time period when your estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, melatonin, everything starts to fluctuate, particularly estrogen. So we have extreme highs and extreme lows. And that's what can contribute to some of the symptoms that we begin to experience during this time. Menopause itself is the year, 12 months without having a period. After that 12th month, you're technically in menopause, but that next day you're technically in postmenopause. So really what we call menopause is that 12 months that you don't even know you're in it until you're done with it, right? Because
Oh, interesting. Okay.
so perimenopause is the more extended time period where your body is really going through
And we kind of call that
change.
menopause. We kind of call that whole thing menopause,
Kind of
really.
call the whole thing
Yeah.
menopause, which is why perimenopause wasn't even on my radar, before.
Right. Right.
Mhm.
Interesting. So I'm curious, when you talk about she had you kind of change the relationship with food, was she having you eat differently? And that was what you were, where you started seeing the results. So I don't know if you know this, Elaine, but I was in the health and fitness industry for 20 years. I had health clubs and weight loss centers. And so that was
Uh,
the other reason I wanted to talk to you. I'm like, what we have done has been very aligned.
mhm,
And one of the things that we would see is people, would get off depression meds and everything would change in their system. So I'm curious what that was for you that
mhm.
really shifted things.
Yeah, it's learning that there's a lot of things that feed us. So the primary foods are those things like our work, our exercise, our finances, our relationships. These things feed us in ways that are very nourishing or harmful
Mhm.
to our body. Food is secondary. So when we figure out, okay, what do I need to eat? And for me, that was clean eating, whole foods based eating, right? Getting that figured out. But then the next step is the lifestyle piece. How am I living? And it's not just the what I eat, it's how I eat that really makes the difference. And my relationship with sugar is what really was, I was using that as a emotional crutch, I would say,
Like
to deal
poison to your system.
like poison to my system. But at the time, it felt like honey to my veins.
Right.
Wonderful.
That's a great way to say it. Yes.
It helped to relieve the stress in the moment,
Mhm.
right? And I
Right.
learned through this process of changing my relationship with sugar that sugar was causing stress, the stress was causing sugar, and vice versa. So, learning that my approach to how I eat needed to be in alignment with my lifestyle.
Mhm.
So, a lot of
Very
lifestyle changes.
interesting. Yes.
So when we think about perimenopause and how we want our relationship with food to be, it's not that it's a lot different, but we just have less wiggle room when it comes to the things we want to do to take care of ourselves. So I'd love to share five tips. If you wanted to lose weight or at least stop the weight gain during perimenopause, some things to really think about.
Go right ahead. Share away.
Okay.
Yes.
First one would be to prioritize protein. And I think this is something we're hearing more and more. And I used to talk about it even before I knew about perimenopause. But in this time of life, after our 40s, we begin to lose muscle mass at a more accelerated rate.
Mhm.
And protein helps to keep the muscle mass on. But it's not just for physical reasons. It also helps our digestion, it helps our sugar be regulated. So eating protein consistently and enough of it is huge. Another one is to focus on fiber. Okay, so we all know the vegetables, um, whole grains, complex carbs are important. They become even more important right now because of the way it impacts our sugar levels and makes us feel fuller longer. Another one, and this is something I didn't realize, and with busy women, it definitely comes into play, and that's to eat regularly. How many of us tend to skip meals? Either because we're too busy, or because we think we're doing ourselves a favor by not eating as much.
Right.
But eating regularly is very important for our metabolism during this time of life.
Hi, friend. I have an exciting announcement. I hope you're enjoying this episode of Expert in You podcast, but I have to ask you, have you checked out the latest issue of Expert in You magazine yet? It's jam-packed with rich content, powerful strategies, inspiring stories, and so much more to help you elevate your business and personal growth. Don't miss out. Go grab your digital copy now and join our community of experts making a difference every day. Go to expertinyoumagazine.com and check out your digital copy today. Transform your expertise into success with Expert in You magazine. It's not just a publication, it is a movement.
The third one is to ditch refined sugars, and we talked about the importance of the sugar issue. And then reducing alcohol. And I know this can be a hot topic for women with our wine downtime, WINE,
Right.
but the alcohol can have a very tremendous effect on our hormones and our sugar levels and our sleep. So reducing that alcohol can make a big difference in how we manage this time of life.
Yes, those are really great tips, and you are spot on. I know all of those things, and you are absolutely right. Now, you have coached hundreds and hundreds of people. How easy, I just know, coming from that field for so many years, it's not always easy to get people on board to do those things. But once you do that in your body and you start to recognize what works in your system and what doesn't work,
Mhm.
you don't feel good when you kind of get through sort of that detox, or you change the things you're doing, and then all of a sudden you feel this amazing energy, and you feel so different, that
Yes,
when you actually do those things you don't feel well. But it's hard a lot of times to get people to get to that point where now they can listen to their body and they can really understand what's going on, and the things that work and don't work for their body. Have you experienced that with them as well?
absolutely. It takes time. Initially, it's like a detox period, and you can feel kind of, fatigued,
Not fun, right?
not
Yeah,
fun.
it gets
But
worse before it gets better.
it can get worse before it gets better. And here's how I handle it as a coach. We take smaller steps. So we don't implement, all the changes right away because the body will rebel, the body physically, but also mentally. That's how we come upon the resistance. And during perimenopause, we need to take those smaller steps because some things are changing so quickly and so drastically within us. Smaller steps really lead to the bigger shifts over time. So, people who are concerned about having to make all the changes at once, I just say, don't worry about it. We'll take it step by step, small step by small step.
No, that's great. So how long do you typically work with your clients? Like what would be a typical engagement with you in your business?
So it's a 4-month program where they meet with me 11 times and also with a fitness trainer as well. And like I said, we're taking it step by step and we're focusing on the four big areas of health. So the eating part, not just the what, but really about the how. Movement, getting that in, and the differences that are needed during our 40s and 50s. Sleep, sleep health is huge. I cannot emphasize it enough. And then managing stress, which that sounds easy to say,
It's
but
not.
it's
No,
not
life is crazy, right?
to do.
Yes.
So a lot of our time is really spent on building that stress resilience, which
Mhm.
then helps us to be able to want to eat better, move more, and get
Right.
sleep. So it's four-pronged, but we really just dig into the holistic aspect of the women.
Wonderful. That's such great information for everyone to know. So I want to switch a little bit to business. You said you were kind of doing clinical work. Was that for yourself, or was that as an employee or more of as contract employee? How was that handled?
As an employee. So I worked in an integrated primary
Okay.
care model, and I
Okay.
was one of with a therapist, a diabetes educator. We all work to advocate for the patient.
Okay. And so then you decided to really go out on your own and become an entrepreneur. How was
Mhm.
that transition for you? We have a lot of people that are probably in startup phase that are listening to
Mhm.
this. How was that transition for you? And what did you find frustrating? And what did you love about it?
Okay. Well, 14 years ago, I actually is when I started my entrepreneurial journey with coaching. And so I already
Oh,
had
okay.
this go
Okay.
around. I already had my business, administrative things set up.
Mhm.
I would say what was most frustrating was things didn't happen fast enough. I assumed because I had kind of
Right.
done this before that
Mhm.
3 months, I should have some real good momentum.
Mhm.
But I realized it takes time to try different things, specifically when it comes to marketing and getting your messaging tight so
Right.
that you're able to start to see some results in your business. So the biggest thing would be to just patience.
Yeah. No,
Patience.
that's so true. And how do you get your clients in your business?
I in person works really well for me. So I've been utilizing women's leadership conferences, getting a vendor table, and
Mm,
that in-person connection has been great. Unfortunately, they don't happen all throughout the year.
right.
In fall are the big times. Networking groups, so women's networking groups,
Mm,
women professional networking groups, and then LinkedIn. So since my audience is women leaders, LinkedIn is a natural place for me to be. And there's not a whole lot of people talking about what I'm talking about on LinkedIn. So I think
right.
I'm a pioneer in this area. But
LinkedIn is a
that's
gold mine.
it is. And
It
so
is.
really getting into the DM. So it's more of an outbound strategy versus just the
Right.
inbound strategy of it.
Right. Very good. And so do you do group coaching or is it all private coaching? What's the structure of your business?
It's all private
Okay.
because I just see, especially with this topic, it's very personal. People
Mhm.
don't want to share all the details. And I know it's not one size fits all. So right now it is one-on-one. I am
Mhm.
looking to include a support type group. So it wouldn't
Mhm.
be a group coaching, but more of a support group with the women that I've coached so that they can bounce ideas off and really be able to see wins from each other.
Yeah, and kind of build that community as well. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, what do you find to be the greatest challenge right now in the marketplace and in growing your business? Like, what are your big goals and what do you find to be the greatest challenge?
My goal is just consistent business, being able to replicate the strategy again and again and get the consistent business. And the challenge is there's a lot of information out there. There's a lot of people out there talking about, well, specifically perimenopause, but in any industry, I think it seems like the market has a lot of people out there talking about whatever you're talking about. So it's being able to cut through and really let my voice be heard. And
Mhm.
that would be the biggest challenge.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have a book?
I do not have a book yet.
Okay.
I do not have
Okay.
a book. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, I mean, those kinds of strategies can really help too, as far as cutting through. Do you go out and speak as well?
I
And
do.
okay, and do
Hmm.
you work in corporations or do you work, since you work with like women leaders, are they mostly entrepreneurs or are you in the corporate sector at all?
Corporate sector mostly. So I'll do workshops in corporations,
Okay,
women's organizations. Yeah, I've done different types of speaking and want to
okay.
do more. Hmm.
Yeah, awesome. That's awesome. All right. What final thoughts here? This has been great information. You gave great takeaways for any woman listening. They are going to grab onto that. What are some final thoughts here? And then also, we'll put all of your information in the show notes so people will be able to contact you as well. What would you like to leave women with today?
I want to leave women with the fact that perimenopause, menopause is not a scary time. Yes, it is a struggle, but think about this is a transition time of life, a transformation time of life.
Mhm.
Who will you be in the next stage of your life? And this is a time when you get a chance to build that foundation holistically, body, mind, and spirit. So look at it as a portal to who you're going to be in the next stage, which is going to be better than ever.
I actually love this stage of my life. I'm having so much fun. I
Yeah.
feel like, when I as much as I loved my 30s and my 40s, I felt like I hit my stride like when I hit 50.
Good.
Yeah, it was the craziest thing. And now I'm even older and I'm
Mm-hmm.
still not finished. It's like you just have so much knowledge, and I like to say wisdom that
Mm-hmm.
you acquire, that this is such a fun time in your life. So I love that you said don't be afraid of it. It can be literally the most fulfilling time in your life. As much as I loved raising my kids and I love my grandkids and all of that kind of thing, this is
Mm-hmm.
such a great time. It's a time you get to be you, like bigger than ever, really.
Right. You get a chance to just really, really blossom.
You
I think of
really
it like a
do.
butterfly, you
Yeah,
know,
I absolutely.
get a chance to be your authentic self.
I agree. I had someone say to me the other day, Ann, when are you going to retire? And I said, why? I have like the perfect life, the perfect business, the perfect
Uh,
upper. I mean, I just spent two weeks in Jamaica with my husband and
nice.
was completely unplugged. And so why would you want to give that up and still get to do everything that you love? So
It
uh,
sounds like you figured it out. So you're
I have
focused. You're not doing all the things. You're able to take
absolutely.
time for yourself. And that's really the key.
Absolutely, it is. So, thank you so much for being my guest. This has been great. I appreciate you sharing, and I'm
Thank
excited for this to get out there into the world and for people to hear from you. And I love the topic. So, super wonderful having super wonderful. It's been wonderful having you on here with me. Thank you,
My
Elaine.
pleasure. Thank you. Have a good day.
All right, everyone. Thanks so much for tuning into Expert in You Showcase, and have an amazing week. Go rock your business, and God bless you all. If you are ready to attract high paying clients like clockwork, build powerful influence and scale your business with ease, let's talk. Book a complimentary $1 million accelerator strategy call at acarden.com to discover how the Expert in You method can help you create a steady stream of premium clients and consistent revenue growth. Don't wait. Your next big breakthrough starts with a simple conversation. Visit acarden.com and let's make it happen. Have an amazing day, and God bless you.